to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, join us for a story about Lieutenant Colonel Dennis K. Clark, a Kansan who was deployed 158 times during his time in the service. Then join us for a story about snapping turtles and their presence across the state. Next, we'll have a poem from Ron Wilson, and we'll end with a look at Marge and Barney Heeney. Stay with us. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Well, hello again. I'm Frank, and this is Around Kansas, a show about people, places, and things that make Kansas a great place to live, work, play, and come visit. So anyway, we've got some good stories as usual today on the show. And here we are just ahead of the Ides of March. And so anyway, as we know, the Ides of March was not necessarily good for Julius Caesar. But anyway, since then, I guess it's a good time. By now, too, you probably set your clocks ahead. And if not, then you've missed the show today because you're an hour late. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. And let's see, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, I discovered another winery in Kansas. They have actually been around since 2011 when they began their vineyards. And this is, they're just near Winfield, Kansas, and they are the Wheat State Winery, and they have some good wines. And the reason I bring it up is because one of my favorite wines is a Norton, and they make a Norton blend. So I'll have to get some of it and then tell you about that. So that's another neat thing about Kansas. There are getting to be more and more wineries around the state. Before Prohibition, Kansas really was like the #2 state in the country in production of wine. The climate here is just absolutely perfect for wine growing. And so we encourage more and more winemakers. And there's some awfully good wines in Kansas, provided you like wine. I'm not suggesting everybody should go out and start drinking a lot of alcohol, but wine really is an art, and it is a fun thing. I'm no connoisseur. I just like to have a glass of wine with dinner every now and then. Anyway, so March 15th, other than the Ides of March, I don't think there's anything. Well, there probably is a lot of special stuff. It just so happens I don't know about it. And of course, St. Patrick's Day is coming up on Saturday, and that's always fun. Now, the internet, somebody is posting a picture of Deb and I a couple of years ago when she dressed up in Irish garb, and I had on an Irish hat doing this, and so it was kind of fun. But today I decided I'd dress in black and gray. Is that okay? Anyway, St. Patrick's Day, there'll be parades and lots of fun all over the state of Kansas because there are a lot of people from Germany and Ireland in the state of Kansas. Anyway, today we've got a story about the Heeneys, Barney and Marge Heeney. They were tremendous people and did a lot of things in this community and others. And so there's a really good story about the Heeneys today. And then another story about Lieutenant Colonel Dennis D.K. Clark. And then there's a story about snapping turtles. And that's going to be one that's going to be pretty interesting because it's one of our wildlife segments. And I don't know, when I was growing up, we lived near Sand Creek in Newton, and I was always told, be careful of the turtles because if they get a hold of you, they don't let go till it thunders. I don't know. I never had one get a hold of me, so I don't know if it was true or not. We might find out if that's in the story. If not, well, I guess I can Google it. So anyway, stay tuned. We've got some really great stories and a poem from our poet laureate. So we'll be back. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com. Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
After 27 years, Lieutenant Colonel Dennis D.K. Clark retired from the Army in 1993, having deployed 158 times and participating in combat operations in Southeast Asia, Europe, Afghanistan, Grenada, and Iraq. D.K. has been knighted 5 times in 4 different countries. In addition to commanding various armored units, he visited hundreds of battlefields on 4 continents to understand the nature and history of warfare. Using this knowledge and expertise, D.K. developed numerous training scenarios and authored war plans, such as General Norman Schwarzkopf's plan in Operation Desert Storm. Over the next 11 years, D.K. traveled the globe extensively to train and coach the staffs of 2- and 3-star generals, training the officers in complex problem-solving and decision-making. During this time, he developed the Army's standard scenario for warfighting that is still being used to assess our Army's combat readiness. From 2004 until his retirement in 2015, D.K. was an associate professor at the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College in Fort Leavenworth. He participated in the complete redesign of the course, and for 3 years was Chief of Curriculum Development for the Center of Army Tactics. As the chief, he authored dozens of training scenarios. During D.K.'s last 6 years, he was the senior tactics instructor in the Army. He advised several governmental agencies. Lieutenant Colonel Clark is retired again and lives in Lansing with his wife Melinda. They have 2 sons and 4 grandchildren. D.K. is a member of the Fort Wallace Memorial Association, a guardian of Fort Wallace, the Society of Friends of Historic Fort Hays, the Company of Military Historians, and numerous other professional societies and organizations. About 14 years ago, on his way back from Custer Battlefield, D.K. visited Beecher Island State Park. As he had done most of his life, it was not just a chance visit. D.K. had researched Colonel George A. Sandy Forsyth's 1868 campaign thoroughly and envisioned what had taken place along the Arickaree. Within minutes of arriving at the state park, D.K. knew the battle had not occurred there. Over the following years, he conducted further research, including satellite imagery, built a significant library, investigated Eugene Carr's 1869 campaign, and an accidental discovery of a misfiled survey map at the State Archives in Topeka, which led him to the actual site more than 7 miles to the west of the state park. This led to the question, what happened at the state park location identified by the farmer's wife? Solving this mystery led D.K. to some incredible treasures along the research road, finds he will share at the Fort Wallace Museum at 2 p.m. on March 18th. He is excited to return and speak at Fort Wallace about one of his great passions, soldiers and warriors engaging in irregular warfare on the Great Plains. I've had the pleasure of knowing D.K. and working with him on occasion, and for those of you who are unacquainted with him or his research, I guarantee you to be impressed. D.K. is the personification of an officer and a gentleman, and few things give me as much pride and humility as D.K.'s calling me friend.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.
My name is Bill Meredith, and I farm about 7,000 acres. We raise about 150 head of longhorn cattle. It was real frustrating for me to not be able to have my hands on it. When I'd come down in the morning, almost cry because my back was hurting so bad and my memory was so bad, and had been to Mayo's clinic feeling like it was nothing was happening as fast as I'd like to see it happen. My land guy come and pulled up beside me and he asked me how I was doing. I told him I wasn't doing worth a darn. He was telling me about this treatment they were doing down there in Manhattan. Anyway, we come up here and got this treatment, put some in my shoulders because I couldn't bend my head like this. I finally started getting my memory back, and I'm able to do about everything I was doing before, maybe more. I went outside and raised my hand and praised the Lord, you know.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Cody's statue marks his achievements and welcomes visitors to the Cultural Center. The Fick Fossil Museum houses world-class fossils and artifacts. You'll find Oakley at the hub of U.S. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70. Stop for the legend. Stay for the day. Discover Oakley. This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
One of my fondest childhood memories, and I'm sure one of yours, is playing along the creek bank in the long days of summer. I can still remember one particular sunny afternoon when I was making mud pies, wading in my bare feet, when suddenly a dinosaur stuck his neck out from the grass and I ran to get my grandpa. Obviously, it wasn't a dinosaur, but facing that snapping turtle, it might as well have been. Grandpa grabbed his hoe, and that beast latched onto the blade and wouldn't let go. I was more careful about where I stepped from there on. In October 2006, two Haven men caught a new Kansas state record snapping turtle on the Arkansas River near their hometown. The monster weighed 45 pounds and was 16 inches long. The previous largest Kansas common snapper was caught by Ian and John Bork on April 23, 1992 in Barton County. That specimen weighed 32 pounds. The world record for this species is 86 pounds, 19 and a half inches. Common snapping turtles live about 28 years in the wild, and specimens living more than 40 years are well documented. They are found throughout the United States, east of the Rocky Mountains. Snappers are omnivorous and will consume anything that will fit in the mouth, including algae, duckweed, sedges, insects, crayfish, earthworms, frogs, fish, mice, and other turtles. When young, common snappers are active foragers, but as adults, they more commonly ambush prey. The flesh and eggs of common snappers are edible and highly desirable in parts of their range. They are highly aquatic and rarely venture onto land except to bask or lay eggs. When searching for a suitable site to lay eggs in late spring, a female may travel as far as 10 miles. The nest is dug into the ground and 20 to 40 round, hard-shelled eggs are deposited. Then the nest is covered. In late October, most common snapping turtles settle into the mud bottoms of ponds or streams or beneath logs and remain there until warmer spring temperatures set in. The new state record was put on display at the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks Pratt Education Center, located 2 miles east of Pratt. So while you're enjoying the great outdoors, watch out for our snapping friends. Legend has it, they don't let go till it thunders.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.
I'm Scott Thellman, and this is Juniper Hill Farms. Even though my parents weren't farmers, they bought this beautiful farm north of Lawrence in 1999. In 2010, I started growing vegetables on this land. Today, Juniper Hill Farms sells produce to wholesalers, grocers, and restaurants, and is focused on growing high-quality food that everyone can afford. Watch my story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
Hi, I'm Randy.
And I'm Paul from PFI.
We would like to personally invite you to stop by PFI, home of Boot Daddies.
PFI is America's Western store, covering over 50,000 square feet.
Over 25,000 boots.
Visit Saddle City with the largest selection of saddles and tack anywhere.
A huge selection of hats at Big Spur Hat Company in PFI Town.
And choose from the best brands of clothing and accessories for the entire family.
PFI, located on Highway 65 at the Battlefield exit in Springfield. And I'm not kidding.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Being thrifty is a virtue. My kids might say that I'm cheap, but of course that all depends on what the cowboy wants to spend money on. This poem is entitled The Bargain. My wife and I went to the big city some time back. I stopped by the Western store to price some tools and tack. I need another pitchfork, but I sure said no dice when I saw they were charging an $18 price. That's way too much, I said, and we went on down the road, because I thought I'd find a bargain in an ad the paper showed. Our farm paper advertised a used tool and equipment sale, where I figured I could get a bargain without fail. It was part of an auction scheduled on a Saturday soon. The equipment sold in the morning, and the horse sale was at noon. So I bid on a pitchfork when we went over to the sale and got it for $8. Less than half the price retail. I was proud of myself and my wise and thrifty ways when that auction entered into its next and final phase. The horse sale had begun, and the very next thing, the most beautiful quarter horse was led into the ring. A gorgeous 15-hand gelding. His color was bay, with great breeding lines registered by AQHA. The owner gave a glowing talk about his many strengths. To have that horse, I realized I'd go to any lengths. So in spite of my wife whispering in my ear, I raised my hand and caught the attention of the auctioneer. And then before I hardly realized just what I did, I ran her up and finally got the winning bid. I put that horse in the trailer, and we drove to the home place, but I didn't like the look I saw upon my dear wife's face. I could tell I was seriously on my wife's bad list. I finally said, "Hon, I'm sorry, I just could not resist." I knew she was suffering buyer's remorse from the $4,000 I'd spent on that horse. I said, "I guess I'm sorry for the way I behaved, but don't forget that pitchfork and the $10 that we saved." Well, it took a while, but my wife has finally forgiven me. She says I am a poster child for false economy. Happy trails.
Welcome to our Bar B, 8,000 plus square feet Western store with something for everyone in the family. We have boots, belts, hats, jeans, anything you could want to outfit you and your horse. Come visit our line of saddles. We have 400 plus new and used saddles in stock. We offer tack, grooming supplies, head stalls, breast collars, you name it, we've got it for you and your horse. That's R-Bar B, 1 mile east of Highway 4 on Northeast 39th. R-Bar B, where Western is a way of life.
Welcome to the Jerry Thomas Gallery and Collection, where we showcase my renowned frontier military and Native American artifacts. Behind me you see a touch of fall. We put together not only the beauty of Micah Highwalking, who is the first graduate of West Point of the Northern Cheyenne people and a dear friend, but also a Hudson's Bay blanket that I have here in the gallery. The unique opportunity that I was able to have was we unveiled this painting and surprised Micah at Custer Battlefield, a true honor.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Their tombstone says, "Off on another adventure," and we know it's true. No one who knew Marge and Barney Heeney could forget them, nor would they want to. Rarely does one person, much less a couple, bring so much good and joy into the world as the Heeneys. Never was that more evident than on St. Patrick's Day in Topeka. Barney, celebrating his Irish heritage, often donned a leprechaun suit and led the parade through town. No one would have guessed, as he bounded joyfully down the street, jumping up and clicking his heels for effect, that he was a successful tax attorney. Yes, not just a lawyer specializing in taxes. He once confided to me that he had taken a sabbatical, gone to the American Southwest and worked as an airplane mechanic, as far removed from the world of courtrooms as possible. I told him that the thought of an Irish airplane mechanic was pretty scary. He laughed out loud. Marge and Barney laughed a lot. Long before others got on the downtown Topeka bandwagon, Marge and Barney made their home there, and Marge took walks down Kansas Avenue, donning a different hat almost every day. She dressed joyfully, playfully, reflecting her personality, popping into businesses to say hello, offer a word of encouragement, and make new friends. Marge made you feel special. She made me feel special. She made everyone feel special, and we loved her for it. She had been a teacher, and that defined her soul. On Barney's 90th birthday, I was the historian at Topeka Cemetery, and they came to visit. Barney wasn't able to navigate the stairs up to my apartment, so I joined them in the car. We laughed and reminisced and cried a little, and they gave me little bags of rocks for my grandsons. It was Barney's birthday, but they were the ones presenting gifts. How typical. Marge and Barney married in 1956 and raised 4 children. They were blessed with grandchildren and were proud of each one. I often wondered if the Heeney kids and grandkids minded sharing Marge and Barney with the rest of us, and I just want them to know how grateful we are to them. Barney died last year on May 8, and Marge followed him on June 25th. This will be the first St. Patrick's Day without the couple who had served as grand marshals of the spirited event and were at the center of so many celebrations. Surely this year they celebrate with St. Patrick himself and lead the Irish dancing along the streets paved with gold. Surely heaven is a more joyful place since the Heeneys arrived.
Have a great day. I'm Frank, and I'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Under the rainbow, this is where it was.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. We're the best part